You better watch out, cause Santa Claus is coming down your chimney to play with your kids. Welcome to Assetto Corsa, of course. Assetto of Corsa. We're going to be checking out the latest update, the Porsche Pack 3 DLC. It all comes off your tongue like as if you're some kind of gangster rapper, sim racing Santa Claus gangster rapper. We're going to go through each car, we're going to talk about them as we drive them. I don't know much about Porsches, so we're just going to go by feel and drive. Okay, the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car 2017. Now, one thing I've noticed with AC is that when they do a DLC or an update, they don't really make a big thing of it in the game. And you think, given that they put a lot of work into it, that then, you know, you want a little bit of a celebration saying, oh, you know, you bought the DLC, here it is, check it out. But it's all like hidden away. So we've got to play hide and seek with cars. This is like being a rich person, a super rich person that has a massive collection of cars in the garage and they can't even get to the car they want to drive. Where did I park it? I don't know. It's somewhere in my Batcave car garage. Oh, we could just type it in though, so let's do that. 911 is going to bring up 400 cars. There we go. First of all, let's admire the cockpit. We've got flappy paddles on this car. I've got a Formula Rim on here. We're going to try and stick with that and not get too much angle. We've got nice. We've got some nice padding on the roll cage. Nice and cosy. If you happen to go over a big bump and you bash your helmet, you're not going to scratch it up or dent it. Zip tied roll cage to the vehicle. Fantastic. It seems that with each update in each car, Kunos starts adding more and more detail. We're going to have enough polygons in these vehicles by the end of next year that you're going to require a supercomputer to run this game. But look at that, the bottom of the chassis as well, how it's all modelled, all the shape of it. Presumably identical to the real vehicle. We've got a little battery pack there with a fan on it. I love how you can just look at all these details, superb. Because you just, I mean, even behind the seat, you can see how the roll cage goes down, you can see the mounting for where the seatbelt would be. We don't have seatbelts, we don't need a seatbelt in this car, guys, where we're going. Don't need a seatbelt. Of course, we'll have like a 4-point harness. They're expecting a crash. No, we haven't got a space for 3 points. We're having a 4-point harness here. Actually, I guess technically it's still a 3-point harness. I don't know what I'm talking about. Our hands device not working, but that doesn't matter. Game of Muscle never has accidents. Off we go. Whoa, a little bit. Whoa. Okay, a little bit. Calm down. A little bit feisty on the acceleration. But okay, cold tyres, no grip. So feisty on the acceleration, but not hard to deal with. You know, you can just pull it back. Quite slidey actually, surprisingly. Obviously the tyres are cold. We'll see what it's like after a lap or so. Whoa, that's nice. Quite punchy. Out of Druids there with the cold tyres. Again, GT3, so it should be quite approachable. And you'll see the AI are just pootling along there. They're perfectly happy. They're not quite as ragged as myself. Oh, that's nice. Through C-trees, we've got a little bit of track texture and bumps coming through the wheel. Yeah, it's your, you know, it's your standard GT3 car. I mean, I say that, if this was reality and I was sat in this car in real life, I'd probably be screaming right now. But because this is a simulator and it's rather calm, and there's no risk of my legs snapping off and all that business, GT3 is quite nice and relaxing. That was nice, going over the going a bit wide, just the way the vehicle snapped back a bit. So, oh dear, they are slowing down a lot for that. It's quite a tricky corner to get the speed through. So, yeah, this feels like your standard GT3 car. It feels really nice and balanced. Actually, quite a bit of. I'm starting to notice some subtlety there. I'd say, this is, it's your sort of English dinner car. There's nothing too spicy there. It's not got that much horseradish on it. Not got that much mustard. It's pretty much like a bland English dinner. It does the job. It's quite filling, but whoa! It's not gonna blow your head off. Maybe in reality it would, but in virtual reality, in the simulator, quite a nice calm car. I think this would be good fun to put some time in for doing some hot lapping with maybe. and also doing some public server racing with. Hopefully we can get a server set up. We'll probably do this ourselves with a bunch of sort of GT3, GT2 cars. Make for some interesting racing. This is all right, actually. I'm getting into this now, actually. Much more exciting, I think, than... Whoa! We almost went overboard there, considering we're using the Formula Rim. My hands are going to be spaghettied around the wheel if I'm not careful. I'd say it has a bit more play and slide to it than the GT2 cars, so it's a little bit more interesting in that regard. Some of these GT cars are just they're a bit planted and a little bit bland, so they can sometimes feel a bit lacking in their dynamics. This has a good range of motion to it. I could see here with a bit of setup tweaking and when actually trying to push it, I can see this being really satisfying, trying to subtly glide it around certain corners and getting the most out of it. Engine sound with this vehicle, pretty standard affair. No, I've just put my headphone right in my ear, so I'm going deaf in my right hand ear. Whoa, no, gonna miss that. When I'm recording or streaming, I like to just have one ear in, so I don't end up screaming and end up talking like a person in a nightclub otherwise. So I've pushed it right in. Let's do a little test with the stereo. It's unfair to listen to the sound with just one ear. Okay, so let's try not to shout. Yeah, so I'd say the engine sounds pretty standard affair. It's got a reasonable amount of depth and bass to it. You can hear the engine note. Obviously you've got the general skid sound and compression sounds, which I think are shared between all the cars in the AC. What I would say is the downshift's quite nice. There's a little bit of sputter to the engine, but the actual raw engine RPM note could be a little bit better, I think. We're also getting reminded by our dash here to turn our force feedback down, because we are getting a bit of clipping. Can feel that. But in terms of the sound, yeah, not amazing. It's not bad. It's not like you drive this car and go, oh, the sound's ruining the car for me. But the sound's not good enough in this vehicle where I'd particularly drive it for the sound, put it that way. So, whoa, getting out of power. I like how the car started to stabilise itself out now. I guess once the tyres warm up, the car behaves itself. Well, there we go. Too much around the sea trees. Sea trees is such a tricky corner. It looks and seems like a very safe corner, but it's one that will catch you out. And there's the red dustbin of Brands Hatch in front of us, a famous dustbin that if you visit the circuit, a lot of people do a pilgrimage to Brands Hatch just to see the red dustbin. Okay, the Porsche 911 GT3 R 2016. So it's a sort of R, I don't know what the R stands for, maybe race, the GT3 race version. Looks as if it's pretty similar to the GT3 Cup car. Be interested to see how the handling differs. But the actual interior of the car, pretty much the same. The floor is slightly different. The chair mount is slightly different. We do have a sound system. It looks like we've got two subwoofers. Porsche like their bass. Plenty of buttons there that fortunately can't be activated. As I say, we'll probably end up breaking the car if they could be activated. But for the most part, the interior, lacking the stickers on the foam on the ceiling to stop you from knowing which number foam you're using. So there's a difference. And but you do have the foam there to stop you bumping your head on the ceiling and scratching your sponsor logos, which of course is the most important part of racing, appeasing sponsors. But we'll get driving and we'll see what the difference between this GT3 R 2016 compared to the 2017 GT3 Cup car is. Off we go. Centre the camera there. And go. Oh, so okay. Initially, way more grip. The car didn't step out at all, really, a tiny bit, but then just pulled itself back, and then as soon as it kicked in, that's it. Off we go. Absolutely destroying these the 2017 Cup car. And also, okay, this is just so much more stable. Not if I do that. That was my fault. Let's mosey our way back to the track. Just go for a little. Let's see what this car's like on the grass. Okay, so it does. It has moderate grass performance. It's important to test that out. So yeah, I think we were being tagged in the arse by an AI there. Whoa, the tyre's not gripping because we've covered them in dirt. There's a famous dustbin. This handles a lot more in line with the sort of general GT2 cars. If you haven't got any of the DLC, this car feels a lot more in line with, say, the Ferrari 458 GT2 or the BMW GT2 car. Obviously, this is a GT3 car, but the general profile, it has that same somewhat calm, balanced, insane grip, very stable feel to it and character to it. Let's try and nip him up the inside. Sound wise, seems pretty similar to the previous vehicle, the previous Porsche we were driving. Nothing to write home about there, but not, you know, not bad. Enough to get you immersed in the vehicle. Different air vent configuration I've just noticed, so you know, your right hand will be nice and cool, but your left hand will be too warm. So yeah, for me, this vehicle is a lot less exciting than the 2017 Cup car because it just has a bit too much grip for you to really have to worry. I think maybe when you start pushing really hard, then you know, it'll have a tighter bite. The tighter bite that it has and the way it will let go of grip will make it satisfying. But I quite like cars that are initially quite slidey, so anything that basically forces you as a driver to have to balance the throttle or balance the car with the steering and the throttle and the brake. I really like vehicles like that. So this might be a bit better for more newbie drivers that want something that doesn't require that much management at a basic level, but certainly not as exciting as the 2016 Cup car, though. Definitely a little bit faster. You can see I'm not even really pushing, and it just gets the power down. It seems a lot better than the 2016 Cup car. Probably has more power as well. I didn't look at the engine specifications, but we'll finish this lap and we'll go to our next car. This is sort of car abuse. Kunos probably spent hundreds of hours on each car. We're just letting them up and doing 2 or 3 laps and then putting them back in the garage to gather dust. It must be. It's depressing for developers, but that's the price you pay. You spend a lot of time developing software, and the end user is just an idiot that doesn't know how to use it properly. But that's life. Deal with it. So let's park up by the. Oh, look, there's more red dustbins. Kunos have really gone to town in terms of celebrating the Brands Hatch red dustbin. I'm quite impressed by that. True attention to detail and true simulation there. But of course, everyone knows the famed red dustbin is the one at the exit of Sutrees here. That's the last red dustbin before it goes to Forest. So let's go to the next vehicle. As I say, that car, the Porsche 911. The Porsche 911 2016 GT3 R, as I say, not bad, but not particularly exciting. But all said, I am also driving with default setups here, so you have to bear that in mind. You can obviously tweak the vehicles and get different character from them by changing the setup. So these vehicles that are really planted with these default setups maybe could be made more exciting, slightly faster or more approachable or less approachable, whatever you want, just by tweaking the setup. So keep that in mind. I am just driving with default setups like a total noob, but I'm just going by what is initially presented because you can literally spend hours messing around with setups to get different results. So, on to the next vehicle. We've got the Porsche Hybrid 2016. This car is absolutely bananas. If you tried the 2015 car, which was in the Porsche DLC Pack 2, then you'll know about its crazy gear system. You set the engine to charge only, and then you just push the button to activate it, and you go into rocket ship mode. First of all, notice in the cockpit, it's very small, very cramped, but again, Kunos have done a fantastic job of modelling everything. Look at this carbon fibre, everything. There's enough carbon fibre in this cockpit to build a couple thousand tennis rackets. But nice and cosy. We've got the seating nicely arranged to keep us in here. Presumably hands device as well to stop our neck from snapping when we inevitably drive into the car at T1 Monza. We've got, as I said, the dash is set up different on this to the 2015 and much more clear as to where the how much charge you've got that you can use as per the rules and how much charge you've got in the actual battery itself. Much more clear and obvious as to what's going on. High performance solution. So let's get on the track and drive. Hopefully I've set the KERS up properly. Try and remember as well that this vehicle, the gearing is really close. Whoa, okay, we're off. I don't know what they've set their cars up as, but we're turboing away. Oh dear, you can hear the engine transmission. What a bit of a tight fit through there. Luckily this car's... Oh! Don't beach the bottom of the car on the curbing. Let's try and get on the back of the grid here. Yes, the bottom of this car, as you can see, is very low to the ground. There's not much room for going over, over the curbs and not rotating. Got some crazy stuff going on with the shadows there. I think we've got like a UFO flying above the track. Not quite sure what that's about. Whoa! AI all over the place. So, very, very similar to the 2015 car. I have to try and remember to push the button to shift. So close, the second to fifth gear. Whoa! It seems a little bit, maybe this is just me imagining things, it seems a little bit more willing to slide, a little bit looser than the 2015 car. Hard to say without directly going side to side with them. Let's just set this up so we can use the KERS button. Whoa, nice snappy and tight through there. There we go. KERS set to charging, and then we can activate it with the button. There it is. Okay, let's get around this corner and we'll do a full boost. This is like Mario Kart when you activate this button. Here we go, get ready. And you wind up for it, and the AI are driving off, but... Here we go! Oh, it's so satisfying. Oh, we got on the brakes early because I don't know how much we can get away with. We'll just put the car in neutral. Apologies there to the gearbox, which we probably destroyed. We've got a nice handy little TV screen up there to let us see what's going on behind us, because if I look behind me in the car, you're not going to be doing much reverse parking in this vehicle or knowing what's behind you unless you had the little TV screen. I think I just need to stamp on the brakes a lot harder. So we'll try that. Oh, I love pushing this KERS button. They should just put this. They should just put a KERS button in road cars. I think if they just, even if it wasn't a road car with an electric engine, they should just cap the engine, put some kind of limiter on it, and then you have a button on your steering wheel that you push that takes off that limiter, and everyone will be like, "That's amazing!" Just pushing the button and having the vehicle go faster is so satisfying. I like how when you come off the accelerator and you hear it, I don't know if it's a transmission or if it's the electric charge engaging or something, but it's like having a blender in your in your rear activated. Come off and go on the brake. Oh dear, a little bit understeery the default setup, I think, but I'm hardly driving it as good as it could be driven. I could, even though this car is again more along the lines of being super planted, I could drive this car for hours. Just, you feel like you're in a spaceship. It makes spaceship noises. It looks like a spaceship. It has a spaceship button on it. Absolutely amazing vehicle. I can imagine driving this car in real life. You would, I would probably need to have some kind of cleaning system for the interior of the vehicle, because we'd be making a mess in the cockpit. This would be rather intense. Oh yes, just clipping the curb in there. And in VR as well, you know, you get to sort of feel like you're actually in this tiny cockpit. which I think really helps. On a monitor, you can't really see anything. I used to drive some of these cars in R-Factor 1, some of the prototypes that came out for it on a single 17-inch monitor, and you just couldn't see anything at all. But with VR, or if you've got a good triple screen setup, I think these cars really do shine a bit, and you're not punished too much by the fact that you're in what feels like a sort of like a Coke can, a very expensive fiberglass Coke can with wheels attached to it. But Porsche, I'm never gonna. If I ended up as a millionaire and I wanted to buy a Porsche, I'd never be able to get one now, because I've just described one of their top cars as a fiberglass Coke can. Look at the reflection off the wheel arch. That's really cool. Okay, so other useful things to talk about with this vehicle. I get distracted. I just get immersed in this car. I don't know what it is. He says missing the brake point. Let's just go around here. Try and get out of the hypnotic state that this vehicle is getting me in. Engine sounds, as I say, you've got a nice blend of noise when you get on the brakes. You can hear what's going on with the vehicle. Again, I don't think the RPMs and the actual engine note are as sharp as you might find with some other sims, so it can be a little bit hard to get an exact feel for the for where you are with the RPMs when it comes to driving by sound. That's the danger of not using the curves button. The actual engine note itself is quite immersive, quite basic, but there's a character to it that sounds a little bit sort of computery, a little bit synthetic. So could be better, but overall, you know, this vehicle, I'm basing most of what I'm saying on the 2015 car, which I had a little bit more time to drive. I just love the shape of this car, the general nature about handles, having a button to push as you go faster, and feeling like you're in a fiberglass Coke can. What more could you want from a car? Even though it goes against my sort of general preference of balancing the car on the throttle and the brakes, it's quite a planted vehicle. But still, I like this one. So let's go on to the next car and let's see what that one's like. But this is pretty much the same as the 2015 car with some little tweaks. It's like when HP released a new laptop that turns out to be exactly the same as the previous year's laptop. They've just changed some of the cosmetics and a few little tweaks in there. Of course, a traffic jam.